you arguing that I have an obligation as a taxpayer to fund you and how many kids you want to have? If you want to have 30 kids, that's just how it is.
I'm arguing that if the law is set up to have certain criteria for people and it's according to children, then people who qualify for it, legally qualify for it, with no fraud at all, are entitled to get it.
And you'll give me the credit of acknowledging I never said that was fraudulent.
Yes, that's right.
I think it's exploitative by nature, though. Yeah, why don't you throw all your money at them and help sustain their lifestyle? Why do I have to take a cut of my paycheck to go towards Curious Joel's insulated Hasidic Jewish community that has nothing to do with me? I'll never get anything out of. There's zero upside for them to exist for me.
Anyways, we have the government makes criteria for getting financial aid. And if someone qualifies for that criteria, I'm not sure why when the Jew does it, you're calling it exploitive or taking advantage, but you don't say that to all the other people and populaces that don't have it.
Well, I've never seen anything of this scale to where the families are this large and it's sort of baked into their strategy of childhood.
So are you against having children, having a lot of children?
I'm pro-children. That's great. I think you should be able to afford it, and I want to make an important distinction between the Amish, let's say, and the Hasidic Jews and Curious Joel. You tell me what's the difference.
Oh, there's tons of differences.
Tons of differences. Most importantly, as it relates to finance, though, the Amish pay for themselves. They're self-sustaining. They're not reliant on welfare programs funded by the taxpayer.
Don't get mad. Get active. He said the government has a criteria to receive these funds. So what is the criteria? Black folk, for us, the answer is an ethno-religious community. Ethno-religious community. Meaning, Atlanta just scored. Meaning, a community that is religious, that focuses on race. And this is the answer to it. So I went to ChatGPT and I said, I want to create an ethno-religious organization in the United States for black people, just like Amish and Hasidic Jewish communities. What is the step-by-step plan to do so? So that, I messed up. So it said, so that it took and get all the federal benefits of monies and statutes and protections from the federal government. Clearly, I did a typo. So it says, below is a precise, legally grounded, step-by-step roadmap for forming an ethno-religious community in the United States that functions similarly in legal structure and protections to Amish and Hasidic Jewish communities while remaining compliant with constitutional, civil rights, and tax law. Here we go. Step-by-step plan to create a protected ethno-religious organization in the U.S. Number one, understand the legal model you are replicating. Amish and Hasidic communities are legally structured as religious organizations, so it has to be a religious organization. Organized under 501c3 status, protected by First Amendment, Free Exercise Clause, Religious Freedom, Religious Land Use, and Institutionalized Persons Act. Their legal power comes from religion, not ethnicity. Key fact, you cannot create a racially exclusive organization that receives federal benefits, but you can create a religious organization that happens to be culturally and ethnically homogeneous. Example, Hasidic Jews. 2. Design a coherent religious system that is legally critical. To obtain full constitutional protection, your group must qualify as a bona fide religion, not a cultural or political movement. The IRS evaluates this using specific factors: a recognized creed and belief system, a formal doctrine and discipline, regular religious activities and rituals, an ecclesiastical government structure, ordained leadership, religious education, congregation and places of worship. We can do that. We can create our own religion. We can create it. Just like Nation of Islam. Nation of Islam qualifies for this, by the way. So we can do the same thing. This means you must formally define theology, moral framework, ritual obligations, community discipline standards, clerical authorities. 3. Form the organization as a religious non-profit corporation. You must incorporate under state law. Religious non-profit corporations. Article of incorporation must state exclusive religious purpose, not private profit, not political campaign activity. Then, obtain an EIN from IRS, draft bylaws, doctrine, clerical government status, membership criteria. Membership criteria. A good way to make it ethno-religious is the belief that black people having no Neanderthal DNA is some sacred something. Anyone who wants to join, you have to believe that black people are superior. Obtain federal tax exempt status. That is pretty simple. I don't need to explain. Structure the community model, how Amish and Hasidic groups actually operate to replicate their legal strength. A geographic concentration. Purchase land, build housing, worship center, religious schools. This activates RLUI, that's religious freedom, whatever. It activates the RLUIPA zoning protections. So we purchase land, we build a fucking church for our new religion that we have created, and that gives us religious protection. The land is now protected under federal law. B, religious education system, private religious schools. Open up schools that teach our religion, which is our religion is some religious blackness. Homeschooling cooperatives, faith-based curriculum. This unlocks education grants, curriculum autonomy, meaning we get to teach our kids shit without the fucking government getting involved. That's how the Hasidic people and the Amish teach their children without the government getting involved. Religious autonomy, curriculum autonomy, religious exemption from state standards, clergy-controlled governance, creates internal legal autonomy, employment law exemptions. That means we can hire only our people and there's no legal fault. We cannot get sued. Hasidic Jews don't have to hire you because they're protected. They can discriminate. Federal protections you gain automatically. Once recognized as a church. Free exercise clause protects religious practice. Strict scrutiny against government interference. That's why police cannot go to Hasidic communities and arrest them. That's why you go to all these towns, Jews have their own police. Because strict scrutiny against government interference. Land zoning and building protections. They give us land. They will give us land and that land will be protected. The same way you cannot fuck with the Jews, we cannot be fucked with if we do that shit. Tax advantages. Federal income tax exemption. Yes, we don't pay taxes. Property tax exempt. Yep. Your houses, you don't pay taxes for that shit. Sales tax exempt. We'll go to those communities will be self-sustained. We will, you know how much every black community run businesses, black women want to run businesses. You don't pay taxes because we have legal protection. Tax advantages. Okay, we see now. Federal streams available to religious community. Faith-based grants. There it is. That's where you get money from the government because of your religion. HUD housing grants. All of you, that's it. We build projects. We can build our own projects, house our own people, and the government will pay the church, our own church. We can build a community. HUD housing grants, USDA rural development grants. We will get land and get money for our farms. Education grants. We can teach our children what the fuck we want to teach them without anybody getting in. Historic preservation fund, self-explanatory. Disaster relief, self-explanatory. The critical legal constraint non-discrimination law. This is where most attempts fail. You cannot restrict membership based on race, exclude people solely based on ethnicity, deny services based on race. You can restrict membership based on belief, religious practice, moral conduct, lifestyle, community rules. Right now, anybody can join the Hasidic Jewish community. Anybody. You can become a Hasidic Jew. But good luck getting into leadership. The structure makes it to where it's impossible to enter and it's impossible to rise. We can do the same shit. It says, this is how Amish communities remain ethnically homogenous, Hasidic communities remain culturally insular. We can do the same thing and it's going to be black and it's going to be government funded. Long-term strategy, creating a federal religious street system to scale, create a central religious authority, issue group exemption letters, blah, 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 blah. If you followed me long enough, you know I've been talking about this a while ago. I stopped when they did the Black Project 2025 thing, because that was right around the time I had a quarter, 350,000 followers on TikTok. I was doing lives daily. I was trying to get black people so we could start this. At that same time, a 24-year-old black woman came out and said, oh, they're doing Project 2025. We need to raise money to counter them. And you know, black women are like, oh my God, black men, we're the leaders. Black women, we're this. And then black people raised $75,000 and gave a 24-year-old marketing major to cancel and go and counteract Project 2025. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I got so mad, I abandoned the idea. I stopped talking about it. And look where we are now. Imagine if that $75,000 was gone to an ethno-religious community. By now, we would have had 3 or 4 of our communities spread around that we're getting money from. That was 2 years ago. 2 years ago. So black people, this is what we need to do. And if you want, we can have a conversation about this, but this is what we need to do. We need to create ethno-religious communities. A religious institution that incorporates Islam, Judaism, and Christianity, because again, black people were mostly Christian and Muslim, but it's a religious institution that incorporates Islam. Like on the outside is one thing, what you do on your own is another thing, but it's a religious system that incorporates that. That's the answer. Anyone that's been asking, we too can have our own black communities funded by the government, give us money for school, money for housing, money for everything. We just need to be united.